Okay, alrighty guys, I am live and ready to go. How you guys doing today? Hey Wendy. Okay. Alrighty. Just gonna wait a second here, another minute, see if we can get more people on here, and then we will get started. Hi Becky. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I realized I was a couple of minutes late. I was futzing around with stuff as usual, as I usually do. All right. Okay, so today we are going to do what I call a boho stack bracelet. I've heard it called, I think, a chevron. I guess you could think of it that way. I don't know. But anyway, this is something that's very fun to do. It's very quick. It's not a high cost item at all. It's just kind of fun. It's very versatile. You can make it any color combinations. You can, I like them in the mixed colors, but also, well, this is mixed too, but it's not as many colors. But you can make them for holidays. If you wanted to do something for the Christmas season, you could do, those colors. You could do 4th of July colors. You could do Halloween colors. Any kind of holiday, I would imagine. You could do that if you wanted to. My point is that it's just very versatile, and you can have fun with it. Hello, Marcia. All right, I see people are coming on here, and we shall get started. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you the two samples that I have. Oh, I can see my broadcast is pixelating quite a bit here. Let's hope that we don't get kicked out at all. Well, that's not a very good picture with the pixelating. You can't really see what I'm showing very well. Can you guys see it okay, or is it just my computer? Okay, well, I will hold them up again later, and when I'm done being pixelated. All right. Okay, so one of these has a shank button. This one is the shank. This button has the shank on it. If you can see that I soldered on. And then this other one is, it just has the 2 holes punched in there that you thread your leather through there. It's on your end too. Okay. Poop. Well, I guess it's just going to be one of those broadcasts.
Is it getting pixelated?
Yeah, it's very pixelated. Okay, so
Better now?
not yet. My husband's, I guess he was on his cell phone, but I don't know if that really makes a difference or not. Usually our connection's pretty good, but doesn't seem to be right now. Okay. All right, it's better now.
Is it?
It's a little bit better now. Stopped
What stopped?
the broadcast.
I didn't do that.
No, I know. I am frozen. Well, I'm going to keep talking for a minute, and if it's bad, I will get out of the demo and then restart it again. I guess. I don't know what else I can do. Okay. It's not frozen there? Wow, it is on my computer. Let me start it again here. All right. Hang on with me a minute, guys. All right, well, it's clear now. Okay, so it's going. Okay, well, I'm just going to continue then. Okay, so anyway, I was saying that I had one button has the shank soldered on, the other one just has the 2 holes punched in here. If you are following along with me today, I did mention last night, I think it was, that if you were doing this project and you have your jump rings with you and they're not closed, they need to be closed. So you could be working on that while I am working on the button. So I guess that's about the best I can tell you about that. I guess I should have made sure that everybody knew that. Okay, so go ahead and for those who are doing this project, go ahead and close your jump rings. And let's see, and then we'll get started making the button. I'm going to do both buttons today. Okay, it looks good now, Becky? Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I get all discombobulated when stuff doesn't work right. Okay, so for this, I'm going to use my Peppy disc cutter. This is an old model, but they have a newer version. This still works real good, so I am hanging on to this one. But the new versions are round. The unit is round, but it has all the same holes in it too. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I have a textured sheet of 20 gauge copper that I did before, and I'm going to make one button. I'm going to make the copper button with this one, and I'm going to do it in I'm going to make it like 7/8 size. Now I had said or offered kits if anybody wants the materials for this, and I will, you know, cut copper buttons. I'm not going to do silver, but copper will be available, and I can make them either, you know, the 7/8 size, which is this one. I'm going to make a smaller one. This is 3/4 of an inch out of my silver, so I just make a smaller button for that. All right, so this is going to be loud. If I don't knock my phone out of the holder, that'll be a miracle. Okay, so I've cut that disc out of the 20 gauge copper. So I have a nice little disc right here. And then I might as well go ahead and do the silver button while I'm here. I generally put the pattern side down, when I'm cutting these, just in case there's a lip. Well, there shouldn't be a lip, but I'll explain as I go. All right, so this one's going to be the little bit smaller button. Easy peasy. It's a handy little tool. All right, so I've got my two different buttons right here, and I am going to just take an emery board or sanding stick, whatever you have handy, and just make sure that the edges are nice and smooth. That's good. And do the same with the silver. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and feel free to post them. Okay, that's good. Now, just give it one more little shot here. Just getting around the edges. Okay, so I have my two pieces right here. And the next thing that I want to do is dap them, give them a little bit of curve. I don't want to give them too much, but a little bit of curve is nice. So, well, actually what I'll do first is mark where I want to put the hole in the copper disc. All right, and like just about everything I eyeball. So I am going to mark two little holes there in the center. And this one I don't need to because I am soldering on a piece. And then I will put this in the bowl. Give that a little tap. That looks good. All right, and then I'm going to punch my holes with my Euro tool puncher. This is a 4-hole punch that I'm using here. And I'm going to, I put this in a vise. This thing is, it's pretty neat. It's I've shown this before. This is made by Eugenia Chan, but Eurotool is the distributor for these. And this one happens to be 4 holes. They also make one with 3 holes. I have one of each because I find they're useful for, you know, there's different size holes in them. So this one is more like if you're riveting and you need the wire gauge size. It's got 18, 16, 14, and 12 gauge holes in here. So you can use the appropriate wire for the project. Or make your rivets the appropriate size. Okay, so I'm just putting it in here so it's stationary. You don't have to, and I don't for most reasons, but or for most applications, but for this, and especially if you're doing a lot of these types of projects that require lots of holes, it's nice to have something stationary like this. So I'm just going to line that punch up with that mark that I had made on the Sharpie, with the Sharpie, and just turn it till I feel that it breaks through the metal, and then reverse it, and I have my first hole punched. Okay, so then I'm just going to put it into the second mark, Okay. Yeah, it's a really cool tool, Kelly. Um, and it made two nice holes for my button. Now, the other thing that I will do when I am using leather cord, I want to make sure that those holes are smooth so that over time that they don't cut the leather. So I have this little round file that's very skinny. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. I just don't have the name of this particular file, but it's nice to get in these areas, for the holes. Put that down and smooth that out if there's any rough edges in there, because that would be a shame to make the bracelet and then have the leather cut through. So we don't want to do that. Okay, so that's kind of a neat thing. This is larger than a needle file, but if you have a needle file set, they generally have a round file in there, so you could use that as well. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. Actually, what I would normally do is patina this right now, but I'm going to use a button that I already did patina, so I'm going to use that because I didn't bring the liver sulfur out here with me. Okay, so that's how you make this type of button. Some of you might know, a couple of years back, I had a project for a school. They were doing a mother and daughter project. They wanted a craft, and every year they do something different. Sometimes they do a craft or a jewelry piece, or they do the painting, like they have these painting parties where somebody brings in the canvas and the paints and all that stuff. Well, every year they do something different. And a couple years ago, they asked me if I would do a jewelry project. And I was trying to think of what could I present for 350 people that could do this project within a 2-hour time frame, with minimal to no tools. And that was kind of a challenge. And I was thinking about it for quite a while, and then I remembered this bracelet would be a great project because you don't really need any tools. So what I did was I pre-made all the buttons, and I made all the jump rings, and I had several of my friends, my good buddies, that helped me out with the project, and they closed all the jump rings and helped me sort beads and cut leather and all that stuff, and we were able to get the project done. And it turned out great. It was really great. They had tables set up where I think there were 8 people to a table. We were in this huge banquet room, and there were 5 of us women that went around to the tables and assisted everybody, and we carried any kind of tool that maybe somebody might need, but really there was nothing much anybody needed. And we were able to get it done, but it was quite an accomplishment. It was fun too. Let me see here. What is the name of that tool? This is, oh, now I can't think of the proper name, but it's a 4-hole punch. It's a 4-hole punch. Eurotool distributes it. It was made by Eugenia Chan, and there's a 3-hole and a 4-hole. They're probably $45 or so, something like that, and they are worth every penny. They have this one has the 4 screw punches on there, and these are replaceable if one should happen to break. I've not had that happen yet, so but it's good to know that you can get replacement parts if you need to. And it's got the little hex key that you you know, twist it with. It's just a great little tool. Great little tool. There's also another little part that screws onto it, but I don't really need that for anything. But the beauty of this is if you're working with a really large piece of material, of metal, and you need to get into the center of it, normally a 2-hole punch, like say, like a regular 2-hole punch like this, you can only get so far into the metal with this. I can't get any further. If I wanted to go in the center of this piece, I can't do it. But with this, you can fit even, I mean, a much larger piece than this and get to the center of it with no problem whatsoever. So that aspect alone is pretty valuable in my book. And these little vices, this is another Eurotool product. This is a vise that clamps to your table. I hope you can see this. It clamps to your table, and it has a ball that pivots. You can, now because I want to show you, I'm going the wrong way. You can undo it and turn this ball to different angles. Loosen that up a little bit. Come on, guy, you're not, okay, there we go. I just didn't have it loose enough. You can turn it every which way, so however you're working, it can conform to however you want to work. So that's kind of cool too. Oh, I guess I just addressed that, Tammy. Yeah, it's another Eurotool product. And it has cushion jaws on it, which is pretty cool. So it's not like a real super heavy duty, you know, vise that you'd have on your bench, but this has lots of good uses. So and it's very portable. So it's great when I teach, you know, I can take this with me too. So yeah, so that's kind of a nice thing to have. All right. So, let's see here. All right, so we're going to go back here and I've got my holes punched. So the copper button is pretty much done because I'm going to use the one that I already made, and it's patinaed, so that's good to go. And the other one is the silver one, and we're going to solder a little loop, which I'll get set up here for that. All right, so for this, I'm using, this is a pretty neat third hand soldering aid, whatever. This one happens to be a GRS brand, but I have seen some other brands that aren't quite as expensive that pretty much do the same thing. So that's kind of a neat tool as well. I am taking a 4mm 18 gauge silver jump ring, and I'm going to close it. All right, I'm going to close that. Oh, I didn't dap the silver button. So let me do that real quick. These little wooden blocks are nice. I have them, I use them quite a bit. If you want a deeper dap though, you need to use the metal dapping set. This one just doesn't get that deep, especially for small pieces. But I just want kind of a gentle curve for this button anyway. I don't want a deep curve. So this will be fine just for that. And I am going to solder this on. Thank you, Sonny. Yeah, it's the deluxe 4-hole punch for riveting, and then there's the 3-hole also. So, okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut half of this ring. You know, you could use a little larger ring too if you wanted to. There's no rule that says you have to use a 4 millimeter, but that's what I am using. So I am just going to eyeball this in half, and then I'm going to take my file, and this is tough because it's small. I tried putting it in my my miter vise, and it does work, but it's small and it's kind of tedious. So if I just hold it like this, it should be fine. I just want to, you know, when you cut, even though it's a flush cutter, you still get a little bit of points on the ends of your metal from the cutting, from the blade. So I'm just going to just knock that off a little bit so it lays flat on the button. It's not any big deal. Okay, so then I'm going to take my third hand here, and I'm going to position this little teeny jump ring, this little teeny half a jump ring in the jaws here. Oop, and then I released it. Duh. All right, don't squeeze it, Sue. All right, so I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to flux, and I'm just going to use some easy solder on this. You could probably use medium just as well. Where's my tweezers? Get my, I always take a couple extra pieces of solder out in case I blow them off with the flame off of the solder board, because it's happened a lot. So I'm going to solder or flux that area up a little bit and hit it with my flame. Just enough to dry it up a little bit. Then I will place my solder on here. You could use solder paste for this as well if you wanted to, but this is fine. I'm just going to melt that in a little bit. And now I will, actually I should spray a little flux on the jump ring. Not quite centered, I see. Okay. Just warm that up. And there we go. And I put way too much solder. One of those little pieces of solder would have been plenty. But that's soldered on there. Quench it. You see that's on there. I'm going to put that in the pickle. Get this out of my way. See how simple that was? If you have the right tools, things can be quite simple. But it does take time to acquire all the things because nothing is cheap. All right, didn't quite reach my pickle there. All right, I have a little makeshift pickle cup on a cup warmer. Okay, so that is going to pickle for a few minutes. And then we can go ahead and get started on the bracelet. But if you have any questions on that stuff that I just did, please let me know. All right, so get this stuff out of the way. Where'd my paper towel go? All right, for the actual construction of the bracelet, I do have a handout for you, which will have all the materials and everything that you need in there. But basically what this is, what we're using, I figured about approximately 70 closed jump rings, and I'm using 4mm jump rings. And I also, if you order a kit, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 70 jump rings. They're already patinaed, and you're going to get probably 75 or so beads, maybe 80, just extras. I think there's actually 75 jump rings in here. Everybody's wrist size is different, so I want to make sure that it fits everybody. So some people may have some extras left over and some may not. But I would think that you're going to have some leftovers no matter what. All right. And then we need, for this size bead, this is a 6/0 check 3-cut seed bead. All right. So they are, they have a pretty good size hole in them, but not all leather fits through them very well. I'm using 1mm leather. You can sometimes squeak by with 1.5, but it might be kind of a tight fit with your leather. This has plenty of room, the 1mm. I don't have a piece of 1.5 to show you the comparison, but it should fit, but you might have to, really push the seed beads through a little bit. And I would rather not, I would rather have them go through with ease than to struggle with them. So I know 1mm is kind of thin, but it works well. I've not had any problem with it. The only thing that I would warn you about is when we're tying off the knots, to not really give Herculean strength to tying it, because you can rip the leather. You can just break it right in half. Okay, Sunny says, Contenti sells a selection of different shapes of wooden dapping blocks. Yes, they do. Yes, you do. The extra large one, this is the standard size. and you get 2 punches. You get 2 different shape punches. So that's the standard wooden block. This one is the large block. This is also another Eurotool product. They probably sell them other places, but if you were going through Eurotool, you know, this is what they sell. But it comes with no punches. So you'll have to have a punch from another set. Okay. So, but that's nice. I like to use a lot of the round discs with this large one. And then there's like a real huge one, big bowl. And that I use those for my little copper dishes. That's a great size for those. Okay. So, but then there's also other ones. There's other shapes. I think there's like multiple holes in there too. Yeah, Linda, Eurotool is a distributor, so they only sell to, I mean, they're a company that only sells to Eurotool distributors, like stores or individuals that have a business. I am a Eurotool distributor. I haven't really said much about that because, you know, if there's something that you want, you could tell me, but then I have to order it through Eurotool. So, you know, it takes a little bit more time. There's a little more time between receiving, you know, placing the order and receiving the order. But, you know, that's always an option. I don't like to hawk a lot of my stuff, but, you know, if you want stuff that's exclusively sold from Eurotool, I can get it for you. Okay. So that is, and I'm not saying that because I want sales necessarily. I'm just saying it because it's one way for you to get them if you want them. And I use these products and I like these products a lot, and that's why I am showing them to you, because I use them. Okay, so all right, so we've got the 1mm leather, and I am going to measure out 30 inches of leather. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. 30 inches. Get this out of my way now. And we start with the button. And I am going to, for the 2-hole button, I'm going to thread the button on. Okay, how hard is it to thread on a button? Okay, what I want the button to be in the middle. I should have started a different way here. Okay, so I want the button to be in the middle of the cord. Okay, and then I'm going to tie a knot at the base of the inside of the button. I'm just going to tie a knot. And I want to scooch that up as close to the end, to the base of the button as I can. I don't want the knot too far away. So I'm just kind of scooching it down with my fingers. And you pull it so it's tight. Okay, so there's the knot. Okay. So the process is very simple. It takes a few minutes, so bear with me if you want. You can, if you want a pattern for your beads, now's the time to figure that out. I think I will. There's 3 different kinds of turquoise blue in here. There's like a, I don't know, kind of an iridescent turquoise, and then there's a turquoise green, and then a turquoise blue. And what else? We've got white, we've got yellow. You know, it's not real important unless you care, you know, which way you are threading your beads on. You just pick out, I think there's 7 or 8 colors in this mix, yeah, I think that's, well, I'm seeing 7 here. All right, so I'm just going to do that in a repeat thing. All right, so we're going to start with a bead, and we'll put one on. You're putting one bead on one cord and let that go all the way down. And then I'm putting my cords together, and then I'm putting a jump ring over both strings. Okay. Then on the opposite string that I had the first bead on this string, now I'm going to put the second bead on this string. All right. So now I'm going to put another one on here on that second string, and then I pull up these 2 strings again together and put a jump ring through both strings. Okay. So always, kind of keep an eye on your work and make sure that you're putting the right the bead on the right string, because they're staggered. You're alternating them, staggering them all the way up. All right. So it seems like it would take a while, but it really doesn't take that long. And this is why I was saying this is a great project for teaching somebody that doesn't have tools or minimal stuff. I mean, it was just the perfect project for that mother-daughter group. But the work beforehand was immense because I want to say I cut thousands of jump rings, thousands of them, many thousands, because 350 people times 70 or 75 jump rings, you do the math, it's a lot. And if I didn't have my good buddies helping me, I don't know how I would have gotten through that. But it was sweet. All right. So I wish I could time lapse this and zoom it up and get it made for you quicker, but actually this really isn't bad. This doesn't take that long. So if you have, hey Patty. Yeah, well, some of my buddies went with me, so that made all the difference. I could have never worked a room of 350 people. Work in a room. I was working the room. Mary said she did it while waiting for a doctor's appointment and it worked. Yeah, see, there you go, Mary. It's easy. It's an easy peasy project. This is another thing on an airplane that you could do easily enough. Or you could teach your grandkids if you have them, or, other people. And the teenagers, that was the other factor. I didn't know if the teenagers would, whatever project I would pick, I didn't know if the teenagers would like that or not. And they seemed to really enjoy this. And some of them even wanted some extra kits. So that's a plus. All right. Yeah, Mary, in fact, I remember you helped me close some of those jump rings, if I remember right. It was a big project. All right, so you know, you're all thumbs when you want something to go fast, or, you know, want these, while people are watching and waiting. It's like, oh no, hurry up, hurry up. All right, Amber, are the jump rings open or closed? They are closed. And why wouldn't it have been worth it to, because of, first of all, the cost was a lot less for me to make my own. And when you're dealing with that size group, you know, cost is a factor, and that was a factor. And I guess that was the biggest factor. And I don't know, let's see. I don't know, Amber. To me, at the time, it just made more sense for me to just, I have all the tools and everything to make my own. So I did it that way. But yeah, to find that many, I mean, that was thousands of jump rings to buy. So getting spools of wire was much cheaper to do it that way. Because I had to keep it affordable for them as well. Would I do it again? Probably not. But it was a good one-time thing. Yes, Mary, I did think you, you know, I did think that you'd help me with those. I had several of our bead club members helped along with that, and that was great. So for this, I have a brown leather cord. I think that it looks nice with this. For the silver bracelet that I did, I used a black cord, but you know, you can get leather in all different color, um, uh, in different colors, in different sizes too. So that's kind of cool. I've not tried this on anything um, with any larger bead. I don't know how they would nest, if they would sit as well, but for these size 6/0 3-cut beads, they're perfect. And for one of the other projects that I did online, well, that I did a boho necklace set that a few of you took, and I showed how to make a little section of these with wire to attach to our necklaces as another link option, which was kind of fun. All right, let's see, did green. But it generally works up pretty quick. This is also a good thing to do if you to do when you have time, like say if you sell at shows or whatever, if you're sitting at a booth and you've got, you know, you want to keep busy but you don't want to do anything too complicated, this is a good project to do as well. That's right, Wendy, you took that class. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It's always nice to learn something different. I should do a Zoom class. I haven't ventured into doing that yet, but that might be kind of fun. But it, you know, things are getting better so far around here with the COVID thing. And they're not great. They're not done. We're far from done, but I haven't resumed any in-class or in-studio teaching yet. I've been a little hesitant to do that, but you know, hopefully by summer things will be more under control, and I'll be able to resume doing that again. But I should, I guess, just for the benefit of the doubt, I should try to put a Zoom one together. it's just with technology, you know, not everybody is on the same page. And and I don't know how that would work out. I'm one of those that are not on the same page, so that's why I haven't done anything yet. All right. Yes, I am alternating between sides. If you can, I don't know if I can show this close enough to you. Sometimes it gets blurry if it's too close. But it's basically, it's you start off with a bead on one cord, then you put one jump ring through both cords, then you put a bead on the opposite cord, and you just go back and forth, all the way up. But it's always alternating a bead and then two jump rings. And then, you know, keep an eye on yourself that you haven't skipped anything, because you'll be unhappy when you look at it later and say, you know, I missed a bead a third of the way in, and now I have to take it all apart. And or not, maybe you won't, but it would bug the dickens out of me if I didn't. So uh, that's just me, though. And I am using 4mm 18 gauge jump rings. Yes, I am, Sonny. All right. Well, right off the bat, I put my last bead on the wrong string, so I have to reset that. I wish I had some good stories to tell you, or some good jokes or something. I got nothing. I got nothing right now. Although we did have a fluky kind of snow yesterday. I did post that on my page if anybody saw that. I know some other parts of the country got it too, but for April 20th yesterday, that's not good. Although the only thing that's comforting is that you know that when it snows like that this late in the season, it's not going to last. It's going to melt. In fact, everything that came down yesterday is gone already, so that was good. But I know there's other parts of the U.S. and Canada that that got hit yesterday and this morning, I guess, in some areas. I think, Wendy, you said that you got it this morning, and it looked like you got a lot more snow than we did, actually, which is fine by me. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, my dad is doing better. He is home. He is actually home and out of the rehab place, and he seems to be doing quite well. So far, so good. I hate to say too much too soon. You know, I don't want to jinx anything, but he lives by himself, and he's 95, and that's the way he wants it. And honestly, if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago if he was going to be, or maybe 3 weeks ago, I should say, if he was coming home, I would say I highly doubted it. But but he proved me wrong, which I'm glad. Hopefully, well, I don't think he's going to be driving again, but I have a feeling he's going to try if he starts feeling stronger, which that kind of scares me. So I don't know. I mean, he was actually driving um, up until he went to the hospital 2 months ago, and he was doing well. He was driving okay. I would drive with him periodically to make sure that he was doing everything right and not jeopardizing anybody else, himself or anybody else, and he was doing well, so I didn't really worry about it. But he had gotten so weak in the hospital and then in rehab that I thought, well, he'll surely never drive again. But he may prove me wrong on that too. Yeah, I do. I mean, he's all I've got left now. I mean, my mom passed away a few years ago, so um, and that was very sad. That's always hard to lose your parents like that. And I've been very fortunate to have them as long as I have. A lot of people haven't had that luxury. They've lost their parents early, but yeah, he's doing good. I've already spoken to him today. I talked to him twice a day, and my sister calls him every day too, and my brother calls him every day. So, he stays occupied for the most part. He had the physical therapist over yesterday. I was over there, and he has to do his exercises every day. And she had him go up and down the basement stairs, which also I had told him he was not going to be able to go up and down the stairs on his own until I felt that he was comfortable enough. But the physical therapist had him do it, and he did great. So I guess I am not going to worry about that so much. But at 95, he is a food hound. He always has been, and he has a refrigerator and freezer downstairs and a stockpile of food. Maybe that stems from being a depression child. I don't know. But if you went to his house and saw his food stores, you'd be shocked to think a 95-year-old man needs to have all this stuff. But he is a creature of habit and a foodie. And he has to have his little snacks of this and that. And, he has to have like 5 different loaves of bread, different kinds of bread. It just blows my mind. When I grocery shop for him, it's like, honestly, Dad, you need like wheat bread, rye bread, sourdough bread, Italian bread. You need all those in your house at one time. But he likes variety, so I figure, at his age, that's probably all he's got left that he enjoys. So why not let him have at it? Let's see here. I missed some questions. Oh, Sonny, that's horrible. Oh my, I can't even begin to imagine that. My deepest sympathies on that, Sonny. So that's why you gotta love them while you have them, because nothing is guaranteed in life. All right, we're moving right along here. Getting longer. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but it's I want to do it right. Sonny, I have noticed some of the stuff you have been cooking lately. Um, Apparently, it's Indian food. I believe I'm not well versed in Indian food at all. There were names that I had never heard before, but I'm assuming it's Indian. But it looks like you're a pretty good cook. That I'd like to try some of that stuff someday. I don't know. The only thing I can tell you for sure is I don't care for curry powder. And oh, a long time ago, I went to it was a bridal shower, I guess. That's how long ago it was. I can't remember. Oh, I see. I skipped one. Um, and it was an Indian family, and they had the shower at their house, and it was lovely. But it was all Indian food, and there were some dishes. I can't remember what they were, but there were some dishes that I thought were quite good. But then there were quite a few dishes that had curry in them, and I couldn't get past that. It was to me, it's just a little bit overpowering. So to each his own as far as what you like, but the curry is just not one of my things. So you're not sending me any thanks. Yeah, okay, well, you just wait till I come to Arizona. I may show up on your doorstep and you will have to feed me. Yeah, you really, from the pictures that you've posted, you look like you're a good cook. So that's a good thing. All right. So keep on moving here. I should check on my button. I'm sure it's already cleaned from the pickle, but I don't want to forget about that. I have the next project that I'd like to do is this riveted moth centerpiece. The bracelets I've already done in other demos that you would be able to check on those if you were interested in them. But I'm thinking about doing that. I've etched a bunch of copper with the moth design on them, so they will be available. As far as making an entire kit, I don't really know how much stuff I would put in there. I have to still think about that, but I was just trying to basically see if anybody's interested in them. But I've etched a bunch of moths, and I have to cut them out, and thought that that might be a good project. You know, I don't know what everybody's into, but I'm trying to come up with different things, you know, different things for different people. Let's see here. I think I've lost my place. I was trying to keep this in a pattern, but I see I've strayed because talking and doing and having other thoughts is kind of screwing me up here a little bit, but that's okay. It's not imperative that they all are in the right sequence. The idea is just that you get the right idea of the sequence and don't have any trouble with it. All right. We're getting closer. I may make this one just a tad smaller so that we can get done and finish it up. So you can see how we finish it up. And I wanted to clean that button up just a little bit. You would like to see the moth? This is the moth as completed. It starts off like this. It's etched on 20 gauge copper. And then I had a pancake die made custom from Dar Shelton to so that I could cut them without having to saw all of them, because that, like I've said before, is not one of my favorite things. Sawing, I can do it, but I just don't care for it, and I guess I'm never going to get good at it unless I just keep at it. But yeah, I'm just not crazy about it. So I leave that to the people who like doing it. All right. All right, here, coming down the line here. Just a few more. But the nice thing about these demos is, and the fact that they're recorded, is that you can always, if you can't watch the whole thing while I'm doing it live, you can always pick up on it later on and complete it then. And you can probably fast forward through all of this stuff that is repetitious. And I did that one. No, that's right. All right. Yeah, I missed going to the bead show in Tucson this year. I was very, very sad about missing that. I've been going there for the last, I want to say 6 or 7 years. My friend has like a patio home there. She lives over in this area, but she goes there a few times a year, and she invites me and another friend or two to come stay with them during the bead show in Tucson, and it's been wonderful. But this year we had to miss it for the first time in a long time, and it was very sad. Although my wallet was happy, because it's usually smoking when I'm at a show like that. All right, I'm going to stop it here. This is plenty big enough now. And that's the other thing when you're doing this, you have to stop periodically and check as you're getting longer, as your length is growing. You want to stop and see how it fits around your wrist. This actually probably could have stopped it a little bit sooner. Let me check this with the other one, just for comparison. Wow, that's like the same. That's pretty incredible, since I wasn't measuring. All right, so when you get to the end, just kind of make sure that all your beads are pushed down, and you're going to take both. Well, we want to end on a bead too, so I'm going to take this last jump ring off. All right, and make a knot. Here at the end, and there again, I want to wiggle that knot down before I close it all the way. I want to get it, scooch it down so that it's close to those beads, and pull that knot. All right, then we want to account for the size of the button, which is, I'm looking for it, and it's right here. We want to account for the size of the button to make the right distance for the knot, where we place the knot for the closure. So this button's going to pass through there easily, but not over easily. You know, you don't want that button space real long, because that just is going to add more length to your bracelet that you don't want. So we're going to take that knot and scooch that down. Before I tighten the knot, I want to make sure that I left enough space. I did. Scoot that back just a bit. Okay, so the button passes through that slit of the two cords together. You see how that is? I'm just pushing it here so you can see. That's the slit of the buttonhole. And then if you want to put a few little embellished beads on there, you can just thread a bead on and then tie a knot close to the bead, just on one thread or one cord. And maybe I'll stick another one. I think I'll put 3 on this side. But, you know, you don't have to put any at all if you didn't want to. I just kind of like the look of having a little fringe or dangle coming down the side. All right, so that's one. And now on the other cord, I think I'll tie a knot first. Just give that a little space between the bead that's on the other cord. Just stretch that down a little bit so they're not right next to each other. Although I don't suppose that that really matters. You could probably do a variety of different things. Maybe just string several beads at once and then tie a knot. I don't know. I guess you can just play around with it if you want. I'll just do 2 on this side. All right. So then I'm just going to snip off at an angle the extra cord. Now, if you felt more secure, you could dab a little glue on these. There is a brand of glue called Hypo Cement that has a little nozzle on it, like a little, I don't know, it's like a little hollowed tube nozzle on there that's very precise, and when the glue dries, it's clear so you don't see it. The bad thing about Hypo Cement is the way it's packaged. I've had a lot of problems with the tubes. The glue, I mean, the tubes crack sometimes. The glue gets stuck in the tube, even though that there's a little pin that you can clean it out. The pin is in the cap, so theoretically that's supposed to keep that tube open, but I've had trouble with that. But my point is that that little tip is easy to get in here, but the other glue that I primarily use now is called Zap. It's a Zap gel, but it's basically a super glue, but it dries clear. Sometimes super glue, I haven't used super glue in a long time, but to me that was it would kind of crystallize, so you could see it on your beads or your project. So I kind of stay away from that, but the Zap does not do that. So that's a thought. So this is the one done. One and done. Oh, Deb, hi, how are you? All right. Glad you could join us. I know not every, people have life, there's things to do during the day. So, Deb, you have 4.5 jump rings. I would have, as long as the beads don't go through them, you'd have to try. I don't know. You would have to try and see. I know that the fours fit pretty good with this, but all I could say is you could try it, but they might slip past. The beads might slip past. All right, so let me get that shank button out of the pickle. Thank you, Joan. I'm going to miss you at the lake this year. I don't know, are you going? Okay. All right, so here's my pickle. Here's my tongs. Oop. Splash. Clean this up with the brass brush. That pickle always kind of frosts the metal a little bit. And I have a little excess solder to clean up, but the shank button, that's it. That is easy peasy. And I can see that I didn't have it centered quite right, but that's the price that you pay when you eyeball stuff. So, but I can live with that. For this type of thing, the button or the position on this isn't going to make any difference. It's just that you want to try to do good work, and if it bugs you or if it bugs me, I can just reheat this and reposition it and solder it again. So that's pretty much it, guys. Not a chance. No, I think it's too soon too. Joan and I belong to a group that meets every year in Missouri at Lake of the Ozarks. It's a lamp working group, and I was hoping to go this year, but not with COVID not being done. I mean, we missed it last year because of COVID. We're missing it again because of COVID, but it's a nice retreat for a bunch of lamp working people. Lots of fun. I've made a lot of nice friends going to places like that. So, any other questions about this technique? Like I said, you can do it in silver if you wanted to. That's totally doable. Same size, 4mm jump rings, 18 gauge. I like to use 20 gauge for my button, and a 4mm silver 18 gauge jump ring cut in half for my shank button. And that pretty much does it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you are, I didn't think about this, before, but I mean, if you want to get tools through me that Eurotool carries, you can go on their website and see the products that they carry. And if there's something that you want, just shoot me a message and I'll try to get it for you. It might take a little bit of time. I have to have a minimum order when I order. So if you want several things, or if other people want things, I can combine everything and be able to place an order relatively easily. So just let me know. Like I said, next week I think I may be doing this. I know I want to do a beaded cabochon, a bezel, seed beaded bezel on one of my glass cabochons. I want to do that as a demo coming up not too long from now. And then, like, you know, like I always say, if there's stuff that you want me to show, I'd be happy to try to figure it out. Just let me know. And if you are interested in a butterfly kit, I think what it'll probably have is the butterfly already cut out. Excuse me. It'll have the 2 big side jump rings. It will have all the rivets that you need, a stone, a cabochon, and a bezel cup for the cabochon. I have 3 choices of colors for the cabochon. Excuse me, they are they are a, what are they? It's a salmon coral, a lapis blue, and there is a green one, but I can't think of which. I think it's adventuring, the green. I put a turquoise, or no, this is not a turquoise. This is a why does this happen all the time? Amazonite. This one is an Amazonite that I got from Rio, and that, if you wanted a stone like that, you could either order that on your own, or I would order it, but there would be an upcharge for that one, because these are like, I don't know, $8 a piece just for that little stone. So, but the other ones would be included in the cost of the kit. So let me think on that as far as pricing. It shouldn't be too bad because there's not that much. And then you could either make the Celtic line chainmail bracelet, like I have one of the demos already in there showing you how to do that, this one that I have on, or you could do a tension bangle for it, which, you know, was one of the last demos I did, or demo before last, to do the bangle if you wanted to do that. So this stone is a size, it's a 6mm, and it'll be a 6mm bezel, and I believe these large jump rings are 16 gauge 8mm. But the rivets, I'm going to show you a system, a rivet tool that I have, that's an affordable tool if you're interested in that, but you don't have to have it for this project. But I am going to use the rivets that are pre-made by the same company, and you'll be able to just use your ball peen hammer to set them. So it shouldn't be a big to do as far as tools are required. Okay, so I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. It's the moose. All right, so just let me know what you guys want to do, and I will see you guys next week in the group, but I will post on the group page with the handout from today, and also a sign up if you want to order a butter or a moth. This is a moth. I'm going to call him the gypsy moth. The moth bracelet kit. Okay, so thank you, Sonny. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.